Okay guys, so here we are with the DC-17 blaster. I went ahead and I dug through a bunch of my screws to find some screws that would go in there. It said you can glue it or screw it. I think I've decided to do both. So I narrowed it down between both of these two screws here. They're both the same length. This one just has a little bit bigger of a head on it, and I think I'm going to go with that for some more surface contact. I already went ahead and dry fitted it in there. I can get the screw all in here and fit it up in here where they slide together. And I'm not sure if you can see that. Let me see if I can get that in there. You can see. Focus that in there a little bit. But there is that gap right there. Oh, this is bad lighting. But there is a gap here where the screw will just go right down to the bottom of the handguard here. So it won't quite go into the handguard, which is good because I was worried it would split that. So the screw should work good in that regard. Like I said, I'm going to screw it and glue it for extra strength. Plus, they don't give you screws in the kit, so I'm just finding what I can find. And so by the time you slide these two together, there is a little bit of a gap here. Again, I don't know if you'll be able to see that in the video. Let's see here if I can show that gap right there. You can kind of see it right there, right where the two pieces go together. So there's a little bit of a gap there. So what I'm hoping, there you can see it really good. There's a gap all the way around there. I'm not worried about the inside, but on the outside you can see it. So I'm going to put glue on both of these surfaces here, cover the both sides, and then I'm going to overflow it a little bit, use a little bit extra, so that when I push them together it'll ooze out that crack, and then I will just sand it smooth and paint over it. Obviously I'm not worried about the inside, but I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then at the same time I'm going to put these where the number 7 pieces, and those go in. There's a couple little notches. There's one there and there's another one there, and these just fit right in there like that. So you can see, and this one will be the same thing. So this will just fit right in here, and you can see that they're just right in there. I'm going to head, while I have the glue out, going to fill those holes with the epoxy that I have and press fit those in there and let those dry at the same time this is drying, so that I can just put all these together and let it sit and dry. That is my plan. I got this epoxy to go ahead and do this with. It's just a clear epoxy. It says on here that it can be used to fill gaps. It has a 5-minute setup time. Stir it for 20 seconds. It's just the instructions. You guys see all this on the back. I'm just sort of going through it. So we'll go through this in another step here. I'll open it all up and then show you that. We'll just mix it together for 20 seconds. So we got 5 minutes before it sets up. Spread it all on there. And then it says leave it undisturbed for 30 minutes and let it dry. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. When I get it done glued together, then I'll put the screw in there, and then I will start sanding it to smooth it all out before I paint it. And then with these permanently epoxied in there, where they match up on the upper part here, you can see right there, and there's another one over here. There, that's where those just line up, and then just snaps right on top like that. And then I'm going to be pulling it on and off because my electronics are going to be in here. And so I want those securely fastened in there instead of every time I pull them off, this could probably possibly stick in the bottom or stick in the top, or it would fall out and I wouldn't want to lose it. So I'm just going to epoxy them into the bottom and just have the top come off so that I can access my electronics. All right, so I'm going to get this epoxy set up and then we will do some gluing. All right. All right, so we're just going to mix this epoxy here. It's not coming out even. And now, I'm go ahead and put, these were the little connector number 7 parts that we talked about earlier. And they go in these slots, like I said, right? So, we got the slot right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some glue down in there and put that in there so it dries. So we will go ahead and get some of this nice, and there we go. So we'll let that one dry. And now we're going to do the other one. Same thing, but on this side. So it's just going to go right in here and stuff. And I do kind of have to go quick because this said this dries in 5 minutes, so I should probably just try and get this in here. So now I'm going to coat the front of it. Right? Remember, I was going to coat the 2 sides of these now. I'm going to coat both those 2 sides right there, just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that screw in now too to hold this together while it's drying. So we'll put this screw in. Put the screw in there. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of glue in here too to just kind of seam this up. Since I'm gluing it anyways, it's not going to come apart, so I'm not really that too worried about it if I get some of it on the glue or on the screw. I just want to make sure that I put some extra glue in there. I didn't put any on that lip of that tongue, see? That's why I'm doing one at a time, so I will remember to do that when I do the second one. I want to make sure that these are kind of level. Alright, this doesn't look all that. I gotta bring that side down a little bit. So I'm trying to just make sure between the 2 pieces that they're level. I mean, I guess I could sand it level. I don't know how close anybody's really gonna look at it with that detail. So it seems to be like when I move one up, the other one goes up. So I'm trying to keep them both down at the same time. I'm going to have quite a bit of sanding to do here. Let's see if I can't take this stick here and smooth some of this out. So I'm just trying to smooth out some of this so that it's even, and then I'll sand that stuff later. So it says it sets up and dries in 5 minutes. I'm being a little picky on how it's positioned. So let's get that there. So I think I'm just going to keep it like that. I'm not going to mess with it. Every time I touch it, I just seem to get it off kilter a little bit. If it's not perfectly straight and there's a little bit of lips, I can just sand that down anyways. So I'm not too worried about it. So now this says it takes a half an hour to dry. So now I'm just going to see if I can't just set this down here somewhere and let it dry for half an hour. Maybe I'll use the barrel here as a little holder for it, and we'll just let it sit right there like that and let it dry for half an hour, and then I'll come back and start sanding on it.